abusua mi channel mi sanso emo akwa ba mi channel so abusua fo ha that's why be media je be so ase enani dey come ni channel so abusua be so subscribe e dey am YouTube channel no bobo notification bell no so for more podcast update abusua fo e ya dey a lawyer Bediako yes oba bonten aba bebreki e silence e wo e Bandai constituency Honorable Mathew Nyindam MP as CM no say Temele High Court the ruling at the abacha say there will be an election rerun. Nabusia omo can Gazette who be asem say dear Mathew Nyindam abusia ono on one mum and a chess okoye and the Gazette abusia or the eba Parliament for a year approval abusia chess obey MP yebeko ne yakwa kotie emunsem nabusia bomodi aso be she ne so ha that's why be media je domodi subscribe na notification bell no so for more podcast updates abusia yonko ne kotie komo twetwe ne mu ye pa emra that's why be media gh me da se
ya Bediako o hwe lawyer ya onimimra ye pa na sa lawyer yi akwatia ebra na enescomi nyame fa ne credit the late enescomi ase na seat ne contest sa mra hye bidwani we na ono na na eye emranim ni anase ositenani na wo hwe sa ensam na ekoso na ebusu ani nyina nse lawyer Bediako akwatia MP edin komom sem Dr. Mathew Nyindam enka we nyina no in case Supreme Court declare bibia man anke be filing for perjury there no I was Gazette no what they be submitting Parliament na ye gini tumsuentum a fake. It is on his own gazetted a document no de buy allegedly in Koma Wooden no and I say in Koma Wooden is alleged form no sana watching nko tie say lawyer Nyindam no kra ni nyina da di say yenti ayesu ni in no o se ono a ekoye Gazette and I say Gazette or de buy e konfa so no Gazette de ba me yesu ni in no tenka Supreme Court to kra di assembly man anke be filing for page abushe nko ni nko tie nsemu nyina.
So unless a higher court reverses the decision, that application does not seek to operate as an estoppel. We know this. But you are talking about what convention? Against the law? As far as I recollect, they cite Bediako's. It is not. Bediako's case didn't travel as though it was an appeal. Bediako's case, they got an injunction. I think it was the earlier one was an interim injunction, which interim injunction means the person affected was not hurt. And you sought to execute that on him when he came to Parliament. And the man said, I have not been served with any order. And you sought to serve him in Parliament, which is wrong, unconstitutional. And then the man said, I can't take it here. So he was in Parliament throughout. You sought to get him out. And then the matter went to the Supreme Court because it was more of an interpretation as to whether he was a citizen or not, a dual citizen. So the matter, of course, otherwise, parliamentary elections doesn't end at the Supreme Court. It ends with Court of Appeal. But because somebody was seeking an interpretation of the Constitution, it went to the Supreme Court. After the Supreme Court was done, and they said he could not hold himself as a member of Parliament. The Speaker did the same thing as we have now. But the Supreme Court went ahead to ask of a certain request of some other, and the Speaker said, I can't do that alone. I need to do it. Check the records. I've read the bit about deleting records. Absolutely. Good. You are very good. You've looked at the records. This is what happened. So how can you say that? The Speaker did the same thing. In fact, that's how come we went for the by-election. Because unless the Speaker does it, the EC will not act. Yes. So the Speaker, through the clerk, wrote to the Electoral Commission, and then they held the by-election. What is the issue? But you know what is coming up. Well, I do not want to, prejudge what will happen, but I need to state a certain fact here. What is the issue? Why are they in the Supreme Court? They are now talking about jurisdiction. Yes. Really? At what point? Go and check the records, which is before the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, if the record of appeal is ready. Mr. Nyindam deposed to an affidavit, attached exhibit of a Gazette notification that the results of Pandai, the parliamentary results, was gazetted on the 6th day of January 2025. That is on record. I referred the team of lawyers to the Supreme Court in the Akotia case. You know it. So I'm very conversant. And they are now relying on the decision of the Supreme Court on the Akotia case, which decision, that aspect they lost. Because they had exhibited the same 6 January 2025 Gazette as the date the parliamentary elections were gazetted. Which Gazette notification I disputed. I wrote to the Ghana Publishing Company. The court wrote and the court instructed Mr. Amenuvo as counsel for Electoral Commission to file an affidavit to tell the court which of the Gazette, because we also exhibited the Gazette, which was the 24th day of December, and the court eventually, these were the words of Justice J. Frimpong in that way. He said the court didn't struggle unanimously. They didn't struggle to know that our Gazette notification was the correct one. Theirs was fake. The question I asked and that decision that went away, that aspect of the decision that went away, that the elections, apart from the gang of 4, you know, in the midst of some 4 polling stations were taken to the Supreme Court, and they were asked to recall it. Apart from those 4, all parliamentary election results were gazetted on the 24th day of December. And the Supreme Court upheld that. Now they are saying that on the basis of that, they have now gone away from their 6th January Gazette notification and are saying that the result was gazetted on the 24th day of December.
All right. Okay.
And now, so they are saying that the NDC candidate filed out of time.
Our time is up now.
It filed out of time. And it is now for the Supreme Court to determine whether. So they are saying the court didn't have jurisdiction, the High Court, because it was filed out of time.
The stipulated period.
Yes. So what happened to the 6th January Gazette that been put to deceive the High Court internally? You run away from that. And a discretionary, a certiorari, a judicial review in the form of certiorari is a discretionary relief. And the court will look at all circumstances, including your conduct, before granting it. We await on the 16th, we will see what will pan out. But you see, I always say this.
1 minute.
If I were Mr. Nyindam, I'll start campaigning. Either ways, he will not have it. Trust me. Because I foresee that even if the Supreme Court rules for him, assuming without admitting, there will be a charge of perjury. Because he filed this in the courts. In fact, it is part of the record that is before the Supreme Court. Okay. Where did we get the 6th January Gazette notification, which deceived the court into believing that indeed the Gazette notification was on the 6th? But you see, please, ending it. You see, we are all Ghanaians. Let it be said. Let nobody ever say anything to the effect or even suggest that filing an election petition is a crime. That is how the discussion that NDC people, you have these numbers, you are still doing. At the end of the day, that even if we have 275 and the last one, there is dispute over it, we will still go for it. All right. But it is the people, it is not the party per se. The people of Pandai, they deserve better. They deserve a representation that they themselves, without any rigging, have elected.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning for the weekly review segment. Very passionate about
You see, I've always been please not. No. Answer the question. Yes. Can it or can it not? Okay. So you are pushing me to a philosophy. Don't come and teach me. When do you cross the line? Okay. Is it more than merely preparatory? Your demeanor was one of attack. That was your demeanor. Okay. There are even incorrect offenses. Yeah. Let me go to. I mean, you don't necessarily have to act. Okay. I even in this case, they acted. I was in the house. You were in the house. No, sticker pushed me. You were the one? Yes, you saw it. Okay. So this, you see, what I was actually was so shameful. I must say. See, if you watch the video, that day, the majority, it was as if we were done. We were just seated watching them. If you remember, business was ongoing. Look, if you read, I didn't bring my standing orders.
Okay.
They were in clear breach of the standing orders of
Parliament.
To the point where there is disorder, that's what the standing order says. And the speaker rises on his feet. You must sit. Show respect. He did it more than 4 times. They ignored him. The speaker watched on and said, let's proceed. So they saw, as you rightly said, they saw that business was still ongoing. They said, no way. I saw them, their leadership called the backbenchers, come. And the marshals were just, in the plenary, the marshals are just a few. They had to, yes, so when is your turn, please read it. To the point where they had to call marshals outside the plenary to come and assist. They formed that way because they wanted to pick the days.
The days.
That's the authority of Parliament, because they just wanted that nothing should happen. No, I have a few to say. So if he would come in, then yes, Mr. Johnson, I would prefer that. Okay, please do.
And the developments in Parliament on that day,
ludicrous and infantile. That is how I describe it. Ludicrous and infantile, especially when it's happened before. It happened where? At the voting.
Yes.
And it happened.
That was the worst film.
It happened in Parliament. When what do you call it? The minority whip. What's his name? Anodom Press started. Fine. His presentation was fine. You see, you could even go back to the stealing of ballot. Yes, that was good to go back to it. Fine presentation, and nobody expected that it would turn the way it turned that day. And what was it? They said withdrawal of the letter to who?
The Electoral Commission.
What does the Constitution say? 1125. It says, and I quote, whenever a vacancy occurs in Parliament, the clerk to Parliament shall notify the Electoral Commission in writing within 7 days after the vacancy occurred, and a by-election shall be held within 30 days after the vacancy occurred. The Speaker, did he honor the 7 days? The clerk, did they honor the 7 days? The person who this thing is against, Mathew Nyindam, has he not gone to the Supreme Court? When did the Supreme Court say they will hear it? Not today, 12th. So what's the problem? No, 16th. 16th rather. 16th. Can the Electoral Commission hold an election within that duration of time? And if by the 16th the Supreme Court rules and the Supreme Court says what you have done was unjustifiable, isn't that all?
So no irreparable harm will be caused.
So for me, where was the insult to the people of Ghana? And you know what the insult was? They were passing bills.
Yes.
They were passing bills that are important to the country. Yes. And they were doing in Parliament. Was there a football club or something? Or was there another thing? What was that for? Total disrespect for the Speaker's office. Total disrespect to Ghanaians who put you there. No matter your issue, once the Speaker opens his mouth, be quiet and listen. Look, after all the budget things were done, you could, after that, have stood up and did the noise. What was all that banging on the tables? And remember, they destroyed the tables once, so taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money. Well, let us continue that way. If we continue that way, what does it do? It creates a certain perception in the minds of the young ones coming up that Parliament is a useless body. Unfortunately, by our own actions, and it has to stop.
One of the major criticisms that has come up is that we're seeing this continuously happening because Parliament itself has failed to decisively deal with similar incidents.
If I were the Speaker, I would suspend all of them. I will suspend all of them for being rowdy in Parliament. Look, yes, I do agree. A demonstration is one part of, expressing your views. But not the way we are doing it. Not the way we are doing it. You can decide to sit in Parliament and be quiet. It's demonstration.
Walk out.
You can walk out. It's a demonstration. You can decide to stand up and say nothing. It's a demonstration. Do you have to be rowdy? So, we're in this studio. If I now start banging the table, now you are this, now you are that, would you concentrate? What would you say? Mr. Jantwa, please calm down. And if I don't calm down, who will come? Your security people, please take him out. And you're doing that in the House of Parliament? Do you respect the position they've given you? Do you respect the people who have put you there? And by the way, did you go to your constituencies to ask your constituents, this is the action we want to take in Parliament? Give a sign, to allow us to do it. Did they do that? And that is where the challenge between party and Parliament should be looked at. Because you find that parliamentarians tend to be much more interested in the party than the position they've given them. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jantwa. You would have to take leave of us. So
this is it. As Senior Jantwa said. Now, when you know what happened on the day, there was even the debate on the same matter.
Yes.
So the majority leader was on his feet arguing why Mr. Nyindam cannot be part of us until the decision set aside by a higher court.
Yeah.
Once he was doing this, they started making this noise. And then, to the point that, the speaker is supposed to deliver a ruling on this matter, yes. So what was the haste for? Wait and let the... And where I even see the inconsistency, and I get surprised at it, is that the majority earlier raised an issue that Mr. Nyindam, immediately after the decision,
the judgment, yes,
could not come.
And the speaker ruled.
And the speaker ruled that the less after 7 days. You applauded the speaker. The majority, with our numbers, we couldn't do anything. How often don't you even hear that even with our numbers, we are weak? And we are saying we bully because we think that we don't want to obstruct. Because look, budget estimate. This week, by next week, we should pass the appropriation. Otherwise, the finance minister cannot spend. In fact, he cannot pay Honorable Afenyo Martin and his group their salary. So we are doing what we are supposed to do. But you seek to obstruct because of what? Is it the speaker that gave the decision? Look at the judgment of the court. He said within 30 days. Within 30 days, the Electoral Commission should do the needful. If you disagree, as we've seen you disagree, you know what to do. And we hear what? And I will be surprised. I saw my senior and the way he went about it. There is a convention.